with Malika Andrews, live from Los Angeles.
The dog days are over. The All-Star break is over. So the home stretch is going to be fascinating to see. Cunningham. Oh! Left hand. Cunningham. That's filthy. Wembanyama. Oh, he went on Mooney on him. 2 straight blocks. James Harden on the run. Harden alley-oop. Oh! Showtime. 54 consecutive free throws made. Oh! It's a one-point game. We're going nowhere right now. Oh, my goodness. He has made the last 4 field goals for Houston. Shot clock's down to 3. Oh, my goodness. 19 years and running.
Oh, yes, the NBA is back, baby. We all needed a break, right? But 10 games on the slate last night, and now we're going to get to break it down. We're in the home stretch of the NBA season, and tonight on ESPN, fresh off his All-Star MVP, Anthony Edwards. He is back in action, and then we get the battle for Los Angeles. Kawhi Leonard and the Clippers, they have a chance to claw. See what we did there? They're way back to 500. They're going to have to contend, though, with the Lakers. Their big three that would go for just the 11th time all year. And since we're talking Luka and Ant, the latest MVP straw poll, it's been released. Who's closing the gap in the final sprint of the season? NBA Today starts right now. And Shanae,
yes,
clear 7th Avenue. Beep, beep. We need to clear West 34th Street because vroom, vroom, the motorcade is rolling through.
He's not just rolling through. He has a parking spot there.
He has a parking spot at Madison Square Garden, and that is where we go now. GQ recently did a story with Cade, and he says, I want to be on the Olympic team coming up. I think I am the best player in America, and Shanae, he showed that. His performance, it was reminiscent of that. Starting with setting up his big man, Jalen Duren.
This decision. Split. Gotcha. Banana split. Hey.
What a finish there by Cade.
And the flex.
Putting on a little bit of a
this
show
meant
there.
Something to him.
And then letting everybody know it as well. And then Cade.
Oh, man.
Crossing up Sohan.
Oh, man.
No way. Series against New York. And I think this deserves a little bit of a closer look here because Cade, he was the king of New York last night. He made franchise history, right? He became the first Detroit player with 40 points, 10 dimes, 5 threes in a game.
Wow.
And he finished his Manhattan masterclass with his second 40-point, 10-assist game of the season. And with that, he joins Hall of Famer Isaiah Thomas as the only Pistons to do that multiple times in a single season. So already in an elite class there in Detroit history. And Shanae, we don't see visiting players throw garden parties like this very often,
we don't.
Right? He's just the third visiting player with a 40-10 game along with Allen Iverson and LeBron. Here's his head coach, J.B. Bickerstaff.
I mean, he's a superstar, and there's no doubt about it. You know, it's hard for me to think of 5 guys in this league that does more on both ends than he does. He never says no. He never complains, you know, and he goes out and gets the job done. Superstars are people that impact winning at a level that he has.
A lot of games mean more for different reasons and stuff. Obviously, this was a great performance. I'm very happy with how I played last night, or tonight, how the whole squad played. Big win for us, missing our big fellas and stuff.
Cade's a great player, and obviously we scout against him, and he's obviously our priority. But great players have big games. You didn't slow them down fast enough, or even at all.
High praise there, particularly from J.B. Bickerstaff, as we say hello to our NBA champion, Iman Shumpert, our reporter covering the Pistons for us, Vince Goodwill. Vince, I want to start with you here because you were in the building. You talked to Cade after he put on a show. What did he tell you?
Well, we talked to Cade earlier in the preseason about MVP aspirations, and he said all of those things have to come in the vein of winning. I don't want to talk about MVP right now. So after he finished his media session, I said, hey, is it time to revisit that conversation? And he said, I don't want to campaign for myself. You guys as the voters should be able to see who has an impact on winning. And then a few seconds later, he said, I think I am the MVP. And I don't care if you disagree with me. And I think the numbers are starting to bear that out.
Numbers are starting to bear that out. I mean, Shanae, do you agree?
Look, I understand that there are some, game requirements amongst the favorites in MVP with SGA and Jokic, but you should create some room for Cade in the conversation. That was a statement win yesterday. And I mentioned that he can flex all muscles when he plays because he can play any position. He brings the ball up. We have a couple of plays right when he was an NBA best record, 41-13. They're trying to protect home court for the playoffs, but look at how many points he has created. A masterclass, 73. Again, top in assists, masterful in how he controls the scoring. He just is a one-man show at this point.
Yeah, and really, folks, we're starting to pay attention to what Detroit is bringing, not just as a regular season story, but something that we could see deep into the postseason. Because, Shump, as the jerseys behind you indicate, I'm sure you saw plenty of players try to make a statement in the Garden during your time with the New York Knicks. What kind of message did Cade send to the rest of the league last night when he does something like this?
I think Cade Cunningham sent a message to the New York Knicks that he has no fear of them, and he is not really bothered by seeing them in the playoffs. I think he's been thinking about it all summer, and I'm going to be honest. As a guy that played for the Knicks and a guy that goes to support the Knicks as much as I can, I do not want them playing Detroit. I would much rather somebody else take them out if I'm the Knicks. I say this because of the matchups. We start talking about matchups again. When you look at Detroit on paper, you start to say they don't have bona fide scorers around Cade Cunningham.
Right.
But when you go into a game and you know that JD's sitting out, they got other guys sitting out, and Cade Cunningham comes in there and his eyes light up, and he go off for 40 and 10, and everybody's bouncing around, everybody's having fun, I don't want to see the man in the Garden no more. So somebody else, please get them out the way. I don't want to see them match up with them.
Especially because it's not just one game, right? When you look at the New York Knicks over the course of the season, they have struggled with these Detroit Pistons here. You can see the point differential over the 3 games that they've played here. Vinny, you're in the Knicks locker room. You're talking to players here. Do you get the sense that the Knicks have just a Pistons problem, or are they talking about something larger that's brewing for a team that has really lofty playoff expectations?
Yes. As in both.
Yes,
they got problems. They got a Pistons problem. They have an internal problem, especially when you look at Karl Towns. Karl Anthony Towns is supposed to be the guy that is the great equalizer, especially when you look at the Knicks having secondary scoring, the Pistons not. But in these games, he has not been able to find his way. He missed the second game where they lost by 37, but last night he was at full health, and he had problems with Paul Reed, a third-string center. He just didn't look comfortable. Now, the crazy thing is, Mike Brown says Karl Towns is comfortable. Karl Towns feels like he will be the scapegoat if things do not go well, because nobody else has the responsibility in that locker room. That is a problem that the Knicks have to address between now and the start of the playoffs.
The difference from last year to this year is the fact that Karl Anthony Towns, his touches have gone down, but also multiple players on the Knicks' touches have gone down. You've created more of an egalitarian system, but it feels like he's maybe not at the center of the universe, whereas last year it was like, get the ball to Jalen Brunson, get the ball to Cat. Now it's more of an offensive system that involves everyone, but this is where I get a little bit frustrated because he is someone that is tremendously talented. He's someone that can score on the post, that can knock down a 3. He was, a couple years the best proclaimed shooting big man in the entire association. At some point, you can deviate and flex your muscle and say, give me the ball. And I do think that that's where I, as a player, and Shump, you can sort of speak to it. As a player, your coach might call a set, and you can deviate and say, I've got a mismatch. Put me where I want. Give me the ball. And so I do think he's trying to be a good player under a coach. But at sometimes, I want him to flex his muscles more and just say, I am a part of this system, and I deserve to be confident in it.
What do you think of that, Shump?
I just think that, again, to speak on what Shanae's saying, you have to, as a big man, you have to rim run. You have to duck in. You have to find little moments that you're making stuff happen as a basketball player. I think right now, Cat is waiting for his team to look out for him. Exactly. You're not going to get a special play. We don't have a special treat, candy, wrapper. We don't have any of that for you. You hard for himself. And right now, I don't like when he's driving to the basket or is back to the basket. I know I begged for it, but it's just not being successful right now. I think he needs to make it easy. Where are the duck ins? Where are the back screens? Where are the slips? Where's the offensive rebounds? Where's the mellow miss layup, get the rebound, that stuff? Go back up again. I need all of that to get involved right now.
You create your own destiny. And lastly, I'll say this. I used to think for a number of games, a majority of them, I look at the Knicks and be like, oh, Jalen Brunson's the best on the floor. Cat is going to be the best on the floor in this matchup. Now you have Cade Cunningham looking like he's the best player in these circumstances. Then you think about, okay, when Jalen Brown runs into town, Donovan Mitchell and James Harden, they have a whole different energy. Tyrese Maxey, Joel Embiid. There are question marks, whereas I was fully confident in the Knicks before, and that's interesting.
And it seems like the word for the New York Knicks season is inconsistent. And it can really be summed up in the last 6 games. I was talking to one of our producers, Matt Williams, about this before we started the show. Last 6 games, win in double overtime against the Nuggets, right? And then they lose by 38 to the Pistons, but no OG or Karl Anthony Towns. Okay, that's fine, right? Win by 22 against the Celtics. Okay, the Knicks are back, baby. Then lose in overtime against the Pacers. Win by 49 against the 76ers. Okay. And then losing again to the Pistons. So that's where it is with the New York Knicks right now. It just feels like it's up and down and up and down, and we are looking for those consistent answers because their bar, it is the conference finals or beyond. It's not just what we're seeing right here, right now.
Without a doubt.
Vince, thank you.
It's totally that.
Yeah.
And you know, Malika, another point for Karl Anthony Towns. He didn't get his contract extension in the offseason before the start of the season. We all know that if the Knicks were going to get Giannis Antetokounmpo over last summer or this summer, he was going to have to be the guy that's going to be shipped out. So all those things play inside a guy's head, along with the outsized expectations. Malika, I take umbrage. The Knicks' ceiling is the NBA. Is only the NBA Finals. Conference Finals got somebody fired last year. I don't think Conference Finals is the ceiling. That's the floor.
Vince, Sinead's rubbing off on you here with using umbrage here in our first block on NBA Today. My friend, we appreciate you. I know you were up late on the East Coast, so you might have missed this one back on the West Coast. We had a game between the Nuggets and the Clippers here, Sinead.
Yes,
We're going to pick this one up in the middle of the third quarter. Denver up by double digits. Murray leading the break, lays it up and in. The Nuggets extend their lead here, and then moving to the fourth. The Clippers down by 5. Ben Mathurin had himself a game.
Oh my gosh, what a day! What a night! This is where what you call the ultimate heat check, an unguardable moment. Some days, like the ball becomes the size, or the hoop becomes the size of a hula hoop.
Yeah, well, he saw that because he finished at 38 points, a career high for him. And then 15 seconds left, the Clippers.
This Clippers team is an enigma, honestly, truly.
Extend their lead here, and then Jamal Murray trying, getting that one to go.
Closer.
After the free throws here, the Nuggets with one more chance. It wouldn't go, but Murray's fouled on his 3-point attempt. The play was going to be reviewed. They'll have a conversation afterwards, but the play was upheld here tonight.
The most stressful free throws.
Well, let's go back. This is January 27th. The Nuggets down by 3 in the final seconds facing the Pistons. Jamal Murray gets fouled on his 3-point attempt. Okay, so he would miss the first free throw with the chance to tie the game.
I know.
But wait, there's more.
Trauma.
So again,
uncharacteristic.
Jamal Murray knows this situation, which brings us back to last night.
That's what was extra.
Wall is putting pressure on Janae. To Murray. Here he goes. He makes the first one. Makes the second one.
Oh, man.
He misses the third one. He can't believe it. Steve Ballmer, you knew he'd be loving it.
Shout out to the wall.
The Nuggets, they blow a double-digit lead. They lose 115, 114. And don't look now, but the Clippers, they are one game away, Janae, from
how did they do it?
500 on the season.
Miraculous.
That seemed impossible, improbable when they were 6-21. If they can get there, they join the 2017 Miami Heat, the only teams to reach 500 after being 15 games below that mark, kicking in on All-Stars. Let's start it off with Kevin Durant. He was in Charlotte. He finished with 35 points, 14 of 20 shooting. He tied Kareem Abdul-Jabbar for the 6th most 30-point games in NBA history. Shanae, will he be considered the best scorer of all time?
I'm not sure the best scorer of all time, but he's right there in the conversation. What I love is that, you know, we were talking about the stuff happening off the court, but on the court, he quiets the noise. He lets his game do the talking. This is a team, the Houston Rockets, that struggles in clutch time. He scored the last 10 points of the game. So he was trying to make a statement himself, and I'm here for it.
Did you scroll the alleged other account?
I did, and it was spicy.
Elsewhere in Texas, Wemby and the Spurs, they've now won 7 straight. Victor had his 46-5 block game. He broke a tie with Shaq for the most by a player aged 22 or younger. Mr. Shumpert, is he the Defensive Player of the Year?
I think it's starting to shape up and look like it. And if Rudy Gobert is any indication of what you have to do to qualify for Defensive Player of the Year, I sure think Victor checks all the boxes.
We need a sound button for that.
And to the Bay, that's where Jaylen Brown recorded his 3rd triple-double this season. This was before the 4th quarter even got started, Sinead. The Celtics have won 7-8. How dangerous is Boston?
I don't want to see them because that Missoula system and JB playing at an MVP level is amazing. What was it? 15 rebounds, 13 assists, these are just like, he's just fine-tuning the other aspects of his game. Salute to the man.
If you told me that we're going to be in Boston in June, I wouldn't say you're wrong. And sticking in the East, Donovan Mitchell, though, might have something to say about that. The Cavs won their 6th game in a row. They routed the Nets by a ho-hum 28. Mitchell led the way 17 points in just 21 minutes. And don't look now, but Cleveland 4-0 with James Harden in the lineup. So let's just take stock in that, shall we? Because since he joined the team just 13 days ago, not even 2 weeks, the Beard has averaged just over 18 points, 51% from the field, and just under 9 assists per game in the 4 games that he has played with the Cavaliers. And now they currently sit in 4th place in the East here, Shanae. They have the longest win streak in the conference. What has been so successful?
Cleveland, this is for you. Cleveland, you need to lock in, because when you look at the standings in the East, as you mentioned, they're 4th, right? They're only a game and a half back from that 2 spot. And that 2 spot is very important. Let's play with this circumstance of them making it all the way to 2. Why can this happen? Well, if you look at the Cavs right now, if they want to be nice to me, perfect. They have the 8th easiest schedule. They can move up. They're the hottest team in the East. They've won 6 straight, the longest win streak in the East. Who would they have to surpass here? They'd have to surpass the New York Knicks, who, by the way, have the 10th toughest schedule.
All right.
And then they'd have to surpass the Boston Celtics, who have the 4th toughest schedule. So if you're trying to make your way all the way up to 2, this is important, because then you can have home court advantage when you're facing these other squads.
Is that the ingredient, though, Shump, that you are seeing that this Cavaliers team is missing? Because we know that this is a group that, as much as they do in the regular season, it's all measured in May and June for this team.
Yeah, I initially didn't see it happening this way, but I think that adding a James Harden has given them a tremendous amount of confidence to turn the corner. I think it does nothing more than excite the guys around him. Donovan Mitchell is playing better. Evan Mobley is playing better. Sam Merrill's playing better. Ja is playing unbelievable. But we knew that. We know who pairs with James Harden is going to be successful under that rim. But when you finally get to see it roll and you see the confidence that he brings them, it starts to make me smile and think maybe we see more Detroit Cav thing than the Knicks. Maybe. I don't know. But I really do like what James Harden is doing to that ball club.
What I do know, Shump, is that we are witnessing a whole different energy. This has rejuvenated Cleveland, and it came down to one play. This play right here, we know James Harden, his bag is being a facilitator. But look, James, 99% of the time he shoots that layup. Instead, he throws the lob to Don, who is 6'2". This got me out of my seat, off of my couch, screaming at my TV. How rare. What a beautiful dunk. Again, 99% of players in the NBA would have gone and made that 2 for them. Instead, he is feeding the guy that needs the most confidence now, because he has not made it as far as people have expected based off of his talent, Donovan Mitchell. So those two, James knows who to get the ball to, and also Don, it looks like he's enjoying himself, and that's the best situation for Cleveland.
It's the guard-to-guard connection,
and let's point out the fact,
Yeah, go ahead, Chuck.
Let's point out the fact that this is the first game that we haven't seen Donovan Mitchell get 30 while James Harden is next to him. So it's not like he's slowing him down at all. I really love those two paired together. Didn't know that it would work like that. So I'll be the first to say, my bad, Donovan. My bad, James. Keep it rolling.
They're winning in a variety of different ways here, the Cavaliers. Tonight, Luka Doncic is back in action. Remember, he missed the last 4 games before the All-Star break with that hamstring issue. But when he's on the floor, he has been a walking highlight. He's leading the league in points per game this season, just under 33, and he's on pace for the highest scoring average by a Laker. I love how the music stops for the drama. Since Kobe Bryant, that was 20 years ago. But Luka's not new to this. Over the All-Star break, he relived some of his favorite encore memories with our own Omar Raja. This is a fun one.
Luka, step back 3 for the lead. He got it. Doncic throws down a sledgehammer. Spectacular stuff from Luka Doncic.
Luka, appreciate you joining the show, man. First clip against Denver, end of the game. What are you thinking here?
I was going to shoot the 3, but then I saw like Plumlee close out to me, and then I just drove it.
Now, when Millsap is coming up, are you hesitating at all? Are you like, let me go up? Or are you thinking of maybe dropping a pass? Or are you just, at that point, committed?
Yeah, at that point, I was just committed. It was young Luka right there.
Are you a better passer or scorer?
I would say passer, honestly.
What a pass, Washington. Oh! That was beautiful.
The pass over Wemby.
Oh, that's just, yeah.
You like that one?
Yeah. I like it. I just, like, sometimes I just don't think, I just do stuff. But when you see Wemby down there, you know, it's obviously going to be hard for a layup.
Is there anything you're keeping in mind with Wemby just being so big?
Of course, that's what, I mean, I think if it's not Wemby, I will go up for a layup. But
Yeah.
since it's Wemby, it's kind of hard.
How do you practice this?
You don't. I think just feeling, you know.
Doncic pulls up, three-pointer. Bang! Bang! Doncic wins the game at the buzzer.
This is the one where it was just an iconic play. The moment you get the ball, what is everything you're thinking?
I mean, first of all, I see if they're going to double, but I saw nobody was coming. You know, normally this point in the game, I get the double team, so I just, you know, wanted to get my go-to move.
Yeah.
And I knew I was confident in that.
Everyone shoots step backs now, but it feels like you're the best in the league at step backs. So what makes the perfect step back?
You know, balancing, I think, is very important. The balance got to be good,
Yeah.
especially going back. And then the amount of separation you make with the step back, you know, I just try to make it as long as possible.
I'm curious, do you have a favorite highlight? Because I remember this, I was at this game. Media's not supposed to react. It was the first time in 10 years I've yelled.
I would say this was my favorite moment.
Doncic maneuvers for the lead. Got it! What a shot! Dallas has taken the lead.
You want Gobert to switch on D, right? Is there something you saw during the game where you're like, this is the mismatch I'm having success with?
I mean, it's just like, you know, I like centers on me, especially if they're going to switch. You know, they have normally slower feet than the guards.
Right.
And I usually have the best defender on me. So I wanted that switch, you know, because centers are a little bit slower than guards.
In the early days of Luka, you were very smiley and just happy to be here. And then we got Luka now, who's maybe the best trash talker in the NBA. It's like you and Draymond. When did that change?
I don't trash talk right away. I wait to somebody to say something, you know, and then I go back. But this was a really big shot, so that's why.
So you're never,
I was just excited.
So you're never the first one?
Not many times.
Got it. Are you hyping yourself up, or are you talking to them usually?
I mean, if it's a away game, especially, I'm probably talking to them, because they're talking to me the whole game.
Luka, appreciate the time, man. Thank you so much. You got all the highlights in the world.
Thank you.
Yes.
I mean, sometimes Luka's the one starting the trash talk. But look at this, the Lakers are going to have their full complement of regulars to begin this final stretch of the season. They have LeBron, they have Luka, they have Austin for this game tonight, and this is just going to be the 11th time this season that they've all played together, the first time since February the 15th, and they've won 7 of the previous 10 games when all 3 were playing. So, Shanae, on paper, right, this team looks to be complete when they're healthy. But you're here to show us why maybe there's a lineup issue we need to pay attention to.
Yes, the big 3 is available, but let's break down this lineup and the rotations because it's quite fascinating. First of all, when LeBron, Luka, and Austin Reeves are on the floor together, what does this team look like? Well, they actually are negative. Minus 9.6 net efficiency with Luka, Reeves, and LeBron all on the floor, which is quite fascinating when you think about it. Now let's sub out LeBron James here for Marcus Smart. So that means we've got 2 guys right here in the backcourt, Luka and Austin Reeves. What does this situation look like here for the Los Angeles Lakers? They actually are in the positive, plus 14.5 net efficiency with Luka and Reeves on and LeBron James off. Interesting. All right, let's switch it up here and let's give LeBron James some minutes back. So let's bring in LeBron for Luka. Let's bring in the new shooter in for Austin Reeves. What does this look like here for the Lakers if we switch things around? LeBron James by himself on the floor without Luka and without Austin Reeves actually has a plus 7.7 net efficiency in that circumstance. So again, just to reiterate, when the big 3 are on the floor, that's the only negative circumstance for the Los Angeles Lakers. Now, the main problem for this entire group, the possession battle. Offensive rebounding, first and foremost. The Lakers' offensive rebounding percentage, when all 3 share the floor, is 20.1%, which would rank last in the NBA. Now let's head over to turnovers. All right. The Lakers have a 15.1% turnover percentage when all 3 share the court, but force a turnover just 12.3% of the time on the defensive end. Yikes. Okay, let's head over to transition defense. The Lakers allow 1.38 points per possession in transition when all 3 share the floor, which would rank 27th in the NBA. Let's head over to opponent three-point shooting.
Does it get better?
Nah, the Lakers allowed 37.4% three-point field goal percentage when all three share the floor, which would rank 28th in the NBA. So the Lakers, they have shot 35% on three-pointers when all three share the court, as well as losing the MAC game here in so many different circumstances.
Okay, JJ, if you have the TV on right now, please don't turn it off. We do have some good news for you, because when Luka is on the floor, he brings his best against the Los Angeles Clippers, right? Their opponent tonight. He averages over 32 points a game against them. That's the most against any opponent. Wilt and MJ, the only two players to average more against any team in NBA history. And we're so lucky. The voice of tonight's battle for Los Angeles joins us now, the one and only Dave Pasch. Dave, thanks so much for the time. We love when you come into studio.
Good to see you guys.
This doesn't happen all that often, and so we feel very lucky to have you. Let's dive into this matchup a little bit. We know that there's something about Luka, and when he faces the Clippers, you've called these games before. You have the best seat in the house. What is it that you're watching in this matchup?
Yeah, whether it's the shot in the bubble in the playoffs or his first 50-point game in the regular season against the Clippers, he clearly likes to play against the Clippers. I think there is something there. I'm curious tonight, the fact that we finally get to see these three guys for a consistent stretch together, Doncic, James, and Reeves. This feels like it for the Lakers. You've got a stretch of 15 of 18 at home. Getting to 2 feels like it's going to be tough. I don't know if they can make up 5 games in the loss column to catch San Antonio, but can they get to 3 or 4 and have home court in the first round? So they've got to play better at home, and now they're finally healthy. LeBron coming off the triple-double prior to the All-Star break. Oldest player ever to have 4 straight games and 10-plus assists, playing at elite level right now.
Approximately how many LeBron James games do you think you've called in your career?
So it's my 20th year, 20th or 21st. So, yeah, I mean, it's been a lot. I mean, over 100. I remember doing a game in Chicago his first year. I was actually doing it with Bill Walton. And I remember it because I think it was LeBron. It may have been a teammate, but it was back when they were all wearing the headbands. Somebody took the headband off, threw it towards the scorer's table. I was just happy to be on the NBA, happy to be sitting next to Bill Walton. And he starts yelling, that's a technical foul. You can't do that. You're throwing an item off your head. And I just let him go. I didn't say anything. I just let him go on for about a minute. And finally, Mike Tirico scolded me after.
Just a minute for Bill?
It was just a minute. We had to go to commercial. So that was the only way to stop.
And you didn't take the headband and maybe just like try.
He wanted to. It wasn't tie-dye, though, so really probably
didn't go with that. But I imagine, and we're talking about the oldest player to have a triple-double right before the All-Star break. It feels almost wrong to then say, well, how many more do you think you're going to be able to get to call? But when you sit down in, whether it's here in LA or when you're calling a Lakers game now, does that cross your mind at all?
A little bit. We're going to be back here for the Knicks game in a couple weeks, probably for that one, because I think after that, until the playoffs, I'm not sure that I have another Laker game. So my guess is I'll be thinking about it. But I don't think this is it for him. So it's hard really to go there.
I'm excited for that one. I'll be on the call for that with you. Shanae and I, Dave, we have a little bit of a complicated relationship with the Clippers, right? Because there's so many times you get really excited for this team, what Kawhi is doing, what he did at the All-Star game. I mean, where are we with them right now, Shanae?
So it's funny. Anytime something goes good, I hold my breath because I feel like something bad is coming with the Clippers.
Right. So where are you? What are you watching most closely with them in this game, this new look Clippers team?
The Zubats trade shocked me because, and then they still won last night. I don't know how they're going to rebound without Zubats.
And who's available?
The way that Ty Lue has this team playing right now, and Jeff Van Gundy deserves a lot of credit too for that defense. The fact they have the best record in the NBA, and they've had guys. I mean, Derek Jones has been out, so now you're trying to implement Mathurin, who clearly can go get you 30 plus. He's done it now a couple times this year. I'm still bullish on the Clippers. Maybe I shouldn't be, but I feel like they could get in the playoffs and do some damage.
I know you've seen LeBron James multiple times. What do you make of Kawhi's play as of late?
It's the best I've seen him play. It's saying a lot because he's been Finals MVP twice with 2 different franchises, but it feels like he's taken it to a new level this year.
What makes you say that this is a team, a Clippers team? Because Shanae and I were about to leap again. We're listening to you, Dave.
I think because of him, Malik. I think it's him. Again, when they went to the conference finals, he got hurt, didn't play in that series. But if he continues to play like this, and we still don't know the results of the investigation and what that might mean for him and the Clippers down the stretch, but if he keeps playing like this, You got to stop him in the playoffs. And when he's playing as well as he is right now, both ends of the floor, plus as much as he gets to the line, career high in free throw shooting, career high in scoring, you got to stop him. You got to beat him 4 times.
Yeah.
It's going to be tough.
He's not a player that tends to beat himself. You have to be the person to stand in his way. Shanae, we're
going to dip our toe in the Clippers water. We won't jump in.
Yeah, but that was a very, we hear you, and, you know, tonight is going to be an interesting one, the battle for Los Angeles. Dave, thank you for spending a little bit of time with us here in studio.
Good to see you guys.
And you're going to be able to hear Dave tonight in our ESPN doubleheader. But first, we have the Mavericks and the Timberwolves. That's at 7:30 Eastern. Then you get the Clippers and the Lakers, and that's where you're going to hear the great Dave Pasch, DB, and George Sedano. And with that, it's time for Shoot Your Shot. It's brought to you by DraftKings Sportsbook. Shanae, who are we riding with?
So with no Cooper Flag, I'm going to have a big game for Anthony Edwards.
I like
in the Battle of LA, Kawhi's been on a heater. LeBron James, he's only got to get over exactly 21 points.
Accurate. It's been a predictor the last few years, and today we have a new installment. So let's not dance around the pole anymore and get right to it with the man himself. Tim Bontemps, what did you learn this time in the straw poll?
Well, Malika, we learned that once again, for the 4th straight time going back to this time last season, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, the Oklahoma City Thunder guard, is atop the poll, and by a pretty big margin. And I think the big reason for that is because of the 65-game rule and the impact that could have on awards. This became the first straw poll I've done ever, going back to 2017, that Giannis Antetokounmpo did not get a vote.
Wow.
That's because he is not eligible for end-of-season awards anymore, because he has fallen below the 65-game limit. And Nikola Jokic, the gap between he and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander got bigger between his first and second polls, I think in large part because he missed those 16 games with that bone bruise in his knee, putting him just 1 game away from being at the limit to prevent him from falling out of awards eligibility. I think that played a part in the minds of voters over the last few weeks, and I think if Jokic can stay healthy, and by the way, if Shai can stay healthy, he's out for at least another week, as we know, with that abdominal issue he's been dealing with. He's going to be up to double-digit games missed. That could potentially open the door for other guys to get in the mix, and it also could leave Nikola Jokic, I think, with a chance to get all the way back into this race if he gets back to playing the way he was before he got hurt and stays healthy the rest of the way.
Okay, so in full disclosure, of the 100 voters that do the straw poll, I'm one of them. I don't actually vote for MVP, but I vote for Tim Bontemps. There you go. And I voted for Nikola Jokic first in my straw poll. Shump, do you agree with the 100 voters here that put Shai Gilgeous-Alexander first, followed by Nikola Jokic, and then we saw the rest of the results there?
Well, I wanted to. I started off this way.
And then?
But no.
Okay.
Cade Cunningham is the MVP of this league. And I say that because of the body of work that he's done and the cool, calm, collected attitude that he has, that he is ready for the playoffs. The way this kid is developing, how fast it's happening, the way his team trusts him, the way J.B. Bickerstaff trusts him, the city trusts him, and then he walks into Detroit and gets that big statement win, then calls himself the best player. I think we keep the microscope on him, but to me, it's not even close right now.
When we're dissecting records, there is absolutely a case for Cade, but I also am excited about a potential case for Victor Wembanyama. Currently at number 2 in the West. They're only 2.5 games back of the Oklahoma City Thunder. And if by any chance they get to 1 in the West, it'll I won't even say largely, it was like 99.9% be because of Victor. He's averaging 24 and 11. Again, potential defensive player of the year. He is trying to dominate not just the game season, but the entire sport. And so I love Cade as a leader because best record, best player, but Victor applies in that circumstance if they keep winning.
Well, the good news is we get one more poll. We get one more before we get the final MVP results.
One more chance to dance around the poll, Malika?
Tim, I don't want to dance around it anymore. In that final straw poll, what could we see change? Because it feels like this eligibility rule that players are bumping their heads on, it could really change a lot of things between now and then.
Yeah, Malika, I think it's made the race really wide open, really more wide open than it's been in a long time. And look, Shai and Jokic have been at the top of the ballot for a couple of years consecutively now, right? So you would really think this is going to be a 2-horse race. And it very well might be. I think if Nikola Jokic stays healthy, it is probably going to be a 2-horse race. But Jokic is only 2 games away from not being eligible. Shai is getting closer, as we said earlier, to not being eligible. And as Chiney and Shump both pointed out, the Detroit Pistons now have the best record in the entire NBA.
Yeah.
I don't think people have really woken up to that yet. Obviously, they just had the great win last night against the Knicks. If they continue to play this way, they play the All-Access game on our air next week against the Cavs. If they continue to be the best record in the league, Cade continues to play at the level he's at, I think he's got a very real chance to be the first American MVP since James Harden back in 2018. And as Chiney pointed out, the Spurs are only a couple games back of the Oklahoma City Thunder.
That's right.
If they get ahead of the Thunder, that is going to be a massive
You're saying
boost
chaos
to
could
Victor's
be
candidacy.
coming.
So I genuinely,
you're saying chaos here.
I genuinely
could be
think
coming.
for the first time, I think for the first time in a long time, really going back all the way to maybe 2017, when you had Russell Westbrook, James Harden, LeBron James, and Kawhi Leonard all have real cases for the award. I think you've got 4 guys that all could legitimately win the award on February 20th, and I think all of them are in the mix all the way down to the end. I think in large part, as you said at the beginning, because of the massive uncertainty that's been thrown in the mix because of the 65-game rule.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. And by the way, Shump, I know you're new around here. That straw poll, it almost always accurately